Side-by-side racing back for fourth. Daniel Quinn continues to drop off the pace.
77 of Bernie Lamar. No trouble.
We got trouble in turn number 2.
That's Aaron Fike, the 33 Outdoor Channel car for Kevin Harvick, and that's Matt McCall and Robert Yates' City Financial Ford. Take a look back at what happened here. You see that's the 90 car on the outside. He looks like he just gets sideways. He saw that the 33 car had already turned around. There was actually somebody came by and made contact with him.
I think that was a case of Matt McCall seeing the 33 car spinning and checking up and just maybe taking his eyes off the racetrack, looking at the car, and just got up too high.
Looked like he got a little bit wide and maybe in the loose stuff. There's another view. Let's see who's going to come by and clip him. That's Reed Sorensen that clipped the back end of the 33 car of Aaron Fike.
Back bumper of Todd Cleaver.
Good battle right there on your right side of your screen. Kevin Harvick just made his way around that battle. Oh, it's trouble.
Sideways. The 88 Mark McFarland in the Navy Chevrolet gets spun around. On the outside of him, I believe it was Jay Sauter in the 0-1. Sure enough, Jay Sauter coming down on the low side of the track. But those two cars side by side, and we saw Mark McFarland get sideways.
Yeah, Mark was on the inside. He lost air off the spoiler. We see that happen so many times with these cars. We see it with the trucks. I mean, they're going down in the corner side by side.
That's a lonesome feeling sometimes on the inside of another car on racetracks as you run this kind of speed. As you can see, he loses the tail end of the car before he actually gets into the corner. Leaned up on the 0-1 as he slid up into him there. Caused problems for both.
And did you see the car that was on the inside of both of those guys as they went up the track? The 60 of Carl Edwards.
Another look right here. That's Carl. That probably contributed a little bit to the looseness of the 88 car, because Carl had pulled up pretty close to the back bumper of the 88 of Mark McFarland, so that even accentuated the problems of being loose on the inside of another car.
Carl Edwards very close to the tail end of that problem, and
why certainly he was in Texas last night for the truck race, finished in the top 5, a great run with his Toyota. He jumped in Michael's Aaron's Dream Machine here, and he qualified the 16th. But oh, trouble. Boris said has made some pretty hard contact. Obviously, you can see the damage on the left side, so there was somebody else involved with that, Hermie.
Yeah, but he's made some contact with the wall too. That right rear tire has made heavy contact with the wall as well.
That's Cale Gale. He got sideways, got real loose there, slid up the racetrack, had to chase it. He made some contact with Boris, and then obviously Boris lost control up on the high side of the racetrack, made some pretty hard contact with the outside wall with a safer barrier.
Just a case of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Cale, we've talked earlier with the other cars being on the inside, losing grip and getting loose. Same thing happened to Cale Gale. Gets loose, gets in the back of Boris, nowhere to go.
Center off. Now he moved up 10 positions early, but it was still very tight. He sort of got bogged down in midfield. They made some big changes on the pit stop. They didn't take on time. We got a yellow flag out on the racetrack. Rick?
Had a problem in turn number 2. That was the 95 of Stedman Marlin, and we see a lot of damage to the back of that car.
Yeah, Stedman was running in the 33rd spot. We can take a look. He was all by himself just as he started to exit turn number 2, lost the back end, spun around, made some contact with the safer barrier.
Was able to keep it out of traffic, hold it in a straight line once he kicked off of the wall. But that does bring out our 4th caution on lap 47. Again, it is Stedman Marlin with damage to the tail end of that car. We'll be back for more Federated Auto Parts 300. Let's take a look at why we were under caution when we went away to commercial.
Very right of your screen, Shane Hall, the 49 car, looked like he was by himself. Lost control of that car, backed into the outside wall, brought out the caution flag. As the guys mentioned, we were very, very close to green flag pit stops, so a lot of these fellows were pretty happy that the caution came out.
This is on 3 concrete tracks. That's Dover.
Oh, trouble.
Nashville. We got problems with the 25 or 35.
Regan
Smith.
See if we can take a look back at what happened to Regan Smith in the McDonald's Ford. Look at your right of your screen. He was in a battle right there, almost a 3-wide battle. That's this 00 of Johnny Sauter on the inside. It might have been Jay Sauter, the 01 on the outside, and Regan got a little bit loose in the middle of those 3 cars. And
same thing we talked about earlier, Phil. I think Regan Smith was just trying to stay off of Johnny Sauter, not crash into him. He lost control of the car. Then you decide, do I try to save it? Do I lock it down and spin spin the car out. In this case, he tried to overcorrect it and shot it back into the wall with the right front.
Same thing we saw Boris said do
Same
early
thing.
on. Overcorrected, made some hard right-hand turn into the outside wall.
In Boris's case, he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. In Regan's case, he was trying to keep from crashing the 01 and ended up crashing himself.